Yo, man, what the heck is actually going on out here? Okay. James Gunn came in and he was going to take a look at, DC and try to right the ship that's over there. It's like, are we going with Zack Snyder? Are we not going with Zack Snyder? Because we still got all of his characters and people really like his characters. They just don't like his script because they're so dark. And Superman's supposed to be, a bright and cheery, a sunny day, a hope for the American people, truth, justice, and the American way. He's supposed to embody all that stuff. And we really like him that he's there. And you guys just recently reaffirmed that he was going to be back as Superman, only to drop this news earlier this week. And holy, what the hell is actually going on over at DC? All right. So James Gunn is going to be putting forward a Superman project. TV show, streaming show, movie, like nobody really knows what he's going to be doing. Obviously, James Gunn is, and if you don't know who he is, you're not alone, okay? He's the guy who's behind this, the kind of odd success behind Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, it looks funny in hindsight, okay? But that was one of those testers in Phase 2 of Marvel that came out, and everybody was like, what is that? And then they went to the theaters and it's like a bunch of pretty colors and a bunch of quirky characters. We like that. Oh my god, the tree says Groot. It's so great. And people like that shit. Apparently they're decent films. I haven't seen any of them. Okay. And he has a track record, even though, like your modern superhero film is falling quicker into the fucking dumpster than anything else in Hollywood has. From the heights of Endgame all the way down to the trove of Thor Love and Thunder. Who the fuck remembers that nonsense? Of all the people to come out relatively unscathed, and for somebody who did something good during the hectic days of DC, okay, like was it the Suicide Squad? Yeah, I think so. Okay. James Gunn came over and directed that, and it was received fairly well. Okay, it was a quirky little gimmick. It was kind of not too dissimilar from what he was doing with Guardians of the Galaxy, but it had an R rating on top of it, and people liked it. It had kind of a weird release by being released on HBO Max and then in the theaters at the same time, so suffered a similar fate to that of Black Widow back at the time, where, it made all this money at the theater and then fell off of a fucking cliff right afterwards because everybody could just buy it for $30 and stream it at home, okay, in high definition quality and a better setup than most modern theaters that are out there. So because DC is at a point in time where they're just getting rid of all of the projects that aren't fucking working because they're so massively in debt, they bring in James Gunn. Okay, brother, you can go ahead and you can run this stuff, okay? You have the license to write the two most recognizable comic book characters that could fucking print money in perpetuity. Can you please do something with them? Because we haven't had a good Superman film since Christopher Reeve could still fucking walk. And can you figure out what the fuck we're doing with the 18 different Batman that are out there right now? That would be great, okay? So what did he decide to do? Well, Henry Cavill's going to come back because everybody likes him as Superman. A couple weeks later, Henry Cavill's got to go out because I want to do another fucking origin story with Superman. And everybody collectively went, you fucking moron. We liked Henry Cavill. We really liked Henry Cavill. And for fuck's sakes, for all of the faults of Zack Snyder, and they are plenty, he did a pretty decent job at casting a couple of different characters, okay? And the ones that he did a less adequate job on, funnily enough, still have jobs right now under James Gunn's rule, but let's take a look at this real quickly before we pivot into what Henry's going to be doing going forward. Nearly 2 months to the day after Henry Cavill declared on Instagram he was back as the Superman, I want to make it official, he said in October's 24th clip. The actor was forced to acknowledge that no, he will not be back. After all, as the new DC studio bosses James Gunn and Peter Safran chart a new course for the Man of Steel in the movie to be written by Gunn, but then also there's another get this one, okay? There's another Superman project that is written by probably one of the most racist individuals on earth, Ta-Nehisi Coates. If you don't know who that guy is, just take a look at some of his controversial opinions. We could just go ahead and say that when it comes to something that happened, as Elon Omar of the Squad would say, a thing that happened that some people did, okay? And he expressed joy of the emergency responders dying on that very day. He's a fucking racist piece of shit. And he's developing a black Superman project. Great, wonderful, fantastic. It should really be hope-inspiring and definitely won't be a vivisection of racism in America about how an alien can come in and how he's mistreated. It's just going to be fucking garbage. Whenever Warner Brothers does something good, they have to offset it with a fucking treasure trove of dog shit. Yeah, so there's several things that are still in development, like Joker 2. Like the first Joker, I've seen multiple reviews on that. That's about the closest I've ever been to wanting to go back and watch a movie. I got a copy of it around here because I'm sure at some point in time they're going to try to get rid of it. But yeah, I got a copy of it. I hear Joaquin Phoenix was a terrific Joker, and that smooth brains out there will just go ahead and compare. This is basically Taxi Driver and King of Comedy. It's like you haven't watched that shit, but okay, cool. I've heard good reviews of it, okay? And that's going to get a sequel. Even though people who have watched it and reviewed it, and it's like, it doesn't really need a sequel. It kind of stands on its own, and it's going to be a musical with Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn. I wish I was making that up, but it's coming out in 2023. I think at the end of 2023 or 2024. 2024. Sorry, my mistake. And then also a follow-up to Robert Pattinson Batman. And so it's like, what are we doing out here? Like, you're still in a multi-varied direction going forward, but the one thing that everybody out there was happy about was Henry Cavill coming back and finally getting some decent content as Superman. But nah, he's gone because I want a younger Superman and I want a 10-year plan. It's like, okay, cool. If you're going to be launching this DC Universe, DCU, instead of the MCU, okay, you're going to have the DCU with all of the, decorated history of DC at your disposal. You want to go with a younger Superman, a 10-year plan that you want to erect right here. How about you focus on making one fucking good cohesive movie first and foremost, okay? Because the MCU wasn't founded on the idea that we need to go ahead and get to the Avengers. It started with Iron Man. Fucking Iron Man in 2008. It had a big name attached to it, and Robert Downey Jr., who was still on shaky ground in Hollywood, and it was Iron Man. Who the fuck is Iron Man? When you think of Marvel, you think of X-Men, you think of Spider-Man. Before the takeoff of this current wave of superhero films, Iron Man was like a B or a C tier character, okay? Nobody knew who the fuck it was until Robert Downey Jr. embodied Tony Stark so perfectly for over 10 years, 11 years by the time that Endgame came out, that you constructed an entire franchise around that. Just focus on that, okay? Because DC's been desperate to catch up with Marvel for a very long time. Focus, just follow their game plan, okay? Success leaves clues. Focus on one good film, and you have Superman and Batman, and you guys still are fumble fucking around with all your ideas, okay? But maybe this is going to be the guy who's going to finally take over and make everything right. Whatever, bro. Like, I was excited for Henry Cavill to take this stuff over, okay? Because I like the guy. Everything that I've seen in interviews, and even for the people that are criticizing him, is like, oh, he dated Gina Carano back when she was, like, the fucking hottest bitch walking the face of the earth. And it's like, oh my god, yeah. That's definitely a big L for him to hold. Like, what the fuck are we doing out here? He builds his own computers. He streams it. He doesn't like to shit on the fans, okay? Whenever there's a stupid hack journalist sitting across from him, he corrects them. He's like, no, man, the fans are passionate. And he also understands about the passion of fandom. Fuck, he left the Witcher project because they kept shitting on the fucking source material. And he's like, if you're going to continue to do this stuff, I'm out, okay? He loved being Superman because he understands the character of Superman. It's like, bro, if his agent wasn't the wife of The Rock, or I don't know, man, like, somebody's got to have blackmail material on him because he should be the biggest fucking movie star on earth. He's a Britman, but he can do a perfect American accent, okay? He's in ridiculous shape, pause, and he's an attractive man, double pause. Like, there is legitimately no reason. You put down all of his accolades, all of his accomplishments on a piece of paper, that motherfucker should be the next biggest movie star. But he can't get anything off the ground. It's fucking wild. It begs the question. We're going to take a look back on the career of Henry Cavill and wonder, why didn't it start to take off until he was in his 40s? It makes no fucking sense at all whatsoever. Back to this, though. I will, after all, not be returning as Superman. Cavill said in a new post on Instagram on December 14th. We got all the posts. I want to go through all of them here. It is just this one right here kind of adds to the fact that there's some interesting people that are still attached to all this stuff while the people that people like are gone. Okay, after being told by the studio to announce my return back in October prior to the hire, the news isn't the easiest, but that's life. The changing of the guard is something that happens. I respect that James and Peter have a universe to build. Yes, of course. But here's the really important part of this stuff, okay? Sunsetting of Cavill's time as Superman was the clearest indication yet that Gunn and Safran are mounting a substantial overhaul of DC, a reboot that will cut significant, if not most, ties with the previous regime that handled DC movies from Warner Brothers. Cavill also shot a cameo for The Flash. Yes, one of the 4 DC movies set to release in 2023. So you got The Flash, you got Shazam. I don't know what the other one is. Then, yeah, you also got Aquaman 2, which is kind of funny because, we got a little bit more of this. Yeah, Amber Heard is still definitely going to be in that. Somebody who, is a confirmed domestic abuser and has never seen a bed that she doesn't want to get shitted on. So yeah, you got Amber Heard that's down there, okay, but then you got The Flash. The Flash that's going to be starring Ezra Miller. Do we need to go through that guy's fucking criminal history? Yeah, I don't think so. That name inspires fear from anybody 6 to 60. He's a fucking creep. But yes, but sources say that cameo, along with Gadot as Wonder Woman, is now being cut, given the studio chose not to go forward with director Patty Jenkins' horrific version of Wonder Woman 3. So Wonder Woman's going to get recast, okay, because Gal Gadot, who is absolutely fucking beautiful, but has zero fucking talent. Oh, she's a good Wonder Woman. She's fucking attractive, okay? But there's a bitch walking the street right now that could probably act better and look a better fucking Wonder Woman than, some stunny leggy Israeli, but still. She liked playing that character, and she went out and made this cryptic post, which makes a hell of a lot more sense after Patty Jenkins spurged out on Twitter about, oh my god, my treatment, oh my god, they told me that I have to go back and reconsider it, and then I just sent over a Wikipedia article about how you don't know shit about your own fucking company. I was like, and then you wonder why your fucking script was tossed out? I was like, bro, everybody's seen Wonder Woman 84. Fucking hot trash. Panned worldwide. Made $0.000. It was terrible. But yeah, what about those films that kind of came out in the lurch? Like, you got The Rock, okay? You got that Black Adam film. That came out in the past month or 2. Anybody talking about that shit? Nope, it's gone. It might make money. Depends on how much you fudge the numbers, and depends on how much, The Rock cope posts on the internet. Oh, see, it's actually going to make money if you just take a look at it through this lens. It's like, bro, you're supposed to be the biggest movie star out there right now, but you can't even turn a profit on a fucking, superhero film. So what's going to happen with you going forward? Are you going to end up getting cut? Because that would suck. In the end, it was a pawn. Oh, he was a pawn in Dwayne's failed attempt to control a piece of the DC. So, okay, it looks like he's going to be on sketchy ground going forward. Gal Gadot's out, but Ezra Miller is probably going to be the centerpiece. You'd have to imagine, at least for this upcoming film. Jason Momoa, what's going to happen with him? Again, you have all of these guys that people just intrinsically like. Cavill, Momoa, you have them cast. You're gonna get fucking rid of them? Like, what's gonna happen with Aquaman 2, okay? Because it's gonna have that stench, pun fully intended, with Heard attached to it. All because you want to reboot the DC fucking nonsense for the, 3rd or 4th time at this point in time? Christ almighty. But yes, let's take a look at the posts here specifically. After weeks of fielding rumors about what he and producing partners Peter Safran might or might not do with the new leadership of Warner Brothers, Discovery DC Studios, should have a longer name. James Gunn has officially announced that the first concrete project is studio head. He's writing a Superman movie without Henry Cavill in the title role. Who the fuck are they going to cast, okay? Because Superman has a look. And the current crop of movie stars that are out there, ooh, boy. Because you need a certain amount of charisma, okay? Like, I'm a wrestling fan from way back in the day, okay? The toughest thing to do, if you ever hear anybody in wrestling, you ask them what the toughest thing to do is, okay? And it is to cut the white meat babyface promo. Guys like Sting, okay? Ricky Steamboat to a much lesser extent, they were the only guys that could do that for an entire career. They were the only ones that had that fire that sensibility, that wholesome energy that's out there. You need that for the role of Superman, okay? Nobody wants a dark, gritty take on this shit. That's why we're in the fucking situation we're at right now. It's because there was no real differentiation outside of superpowers from Superman and Batman. It's like those are two diametrically different characters. Superman is what could happen if humans achieved the highest levels of power, intellect. They were at everything was maxed out for them, okay? They were at the highest echelons of success. What would that person theoretically be able to do for the people that they love, for the country they love, for the planet they are chosen to protect? What could they do? And then Batman on the other side is, what does your average person, okay, average person who doesn't have to concern themselves with any mortal obstructions, what could they achieve? Those are two different stories right there. And we're going to have to be subject to them once again because these fucks can't, navigate built-in fan bases. It's wild. It's baffling, really. This is per Gunn's on social media account. Yes, so here's the interaction. Here's the announcement. Peter and I have a DC slate ready to go, which we shouldn't be more over the moon about, or which we couldn't, be more over the moon about. We'll be able to share some exciting information about our first projects at the beginning of the new year. Among those on slate is Superman. Oh, great! Finally, we're going to get that Henry Cavill Superman film. In the initial stages, our story will be focusing on the earlier part of Superman's life, so the character will not be played by Henry Cavill. Oh. Great, wonderful, fantastic. Gunn noted that no director has been tapped. Yeah, that's nice, wonderful, fantastic. What was Henry Cavill's response to that one? Okay, because he was making a lot of allusions. Gunn on this one. That, oh yeah, we sat down, we had a great talk with Henry Cavill, and it was all copacetic, and we left, and I left the door open to future roles in DCU, and it's like whatever, dude. And it's like everybody just wanted to see him as Superman. Just stop it already. So here was Henry Cavill's response. I have just had a meeting with James Gunn and Peter Safran, and it's sad news. Really sounds like it was a fully understand and a fully mutual decision to make. Everyone, I will, after all, not be returning as Superman. After being told by the studio to announce my return back in October, prior to their hire, this news isn't the easiest, but that's life. The changing of the guard is something that happens. I respect that. James and Peter have a universe to build. I wish them and all involved with the new universe the best of luck and the happiest of fortunes. Now, for those of you who have been at my side throughout the years, we can mourn for a bit, but then we must remember Superman is still around. Everything he still stands for exists, and there are examples he sets for all of us still there. My turn to wear the cape is past, but what Superman stands for never will. It's been a fun ride with you all, onwards and upwards. Fucking bro right there. It's like, man, what his dream job got taken away from him, and what's he gonna do? Fucking sulk about it for a second, but then he's just gonna continue to forge on. That's why people like this dude, because he doesn't wallow in self-pity. He just picks himself up, dusts off his shoulders. Well, he has somebody else to dust them off because he got those little short arms, so he dusts off his biceps. That's about it. And then he moves on to something different. And there's a little bit of cautious optimism on this one. Just a little bit, though. Henry Cavill, noted Warhammer nerd. Okay, like this dude is the fucking nerdiest nerd who ever nerded. He's just jacked and charismatic and a would-be superstar. Just saying, to star and produce in a Warhammer 40k series. Holy, you want to talk deep lore? I don't know fuck all about 40k. The only thing that I do know is that there's books and books and material, and it's based as a motherfucker. So if somebody who paints his own fucking minis, like there's a level of fandom. And then there's Henry Cavill when it comes to Warhammer 40k. Just the only thing that's a hang up, and you notice that I left out a little bit from that headline. If you're reading along with everybody, it's from fucking Amazon. That is tough, man, because Amazon has pinched out fucking dud after dud after dud. But if he's going to be starring in it and producing, because we've seen him star in other very lore-heavy roles before, like The Witcher, that's, kind of the pause screen that's right there, and he left because they weren't respecting the source material. There's hope for that, man. And you know what else? Okay, like, I just made this connection here when I was talking earlier a little bit, okay, because Amazon was buying up some shit a little while ago, and I'm pretty sure we talked about it on the channel. Amazon bought MGM Studios not that long ago, I think within the past year or so. But what did they get with MGM Studios? Well, they got the Rocky franchise, and they also got James fucking Bond. I wonder if this is going to have anything to do with it, okay? Like, is Amazon, because they just pinched a massive fucking turd, no Amber Heard pun intended on that one, with Rings of Power, so they really need to drive subscriptions, and with the vacant spot of James Bond up at the top, and they need to go in a new direction because they killed off, spoilers, James Bond in No Time to Die. I'm cautiously optimistic about that, okay, because they still haven't made the announcement, even though the laughable studio head said that, oh, the new James Bond is going to be much more in touch with his emotions. Nobody wants to fucking see that. Nobody wants to see that. You fuck that up, James Bond is dead. But if Amazon really does have full control over MGM, because that's the entire reason they fucking bought that shit, okay? If they're actually going to do something that, you know, the fans like, and just because Henry Cavill couldn't be the younger Superman that's out there, he could definitely be James Bond, 1000 fucking %. I'm probably talking myself into a little bit more hype than is necessary, but still, man, if there's going to be a based-ass Warhammer series and it's going to be directed and starred in by Henry Cavill, you got my attention. You got my attention. That's more than I can say about just about anything that's on television or in theaters right now. So let's do a little bit about this. Like, look at what this motherfucker paints. Like, he's a fucking dork when it comes to this stuff in the best possible meaning. Henry Cavill may be out of a job at DC, but yeah, no, DC is fucking hemorrhaging money and they could be selling off IPs into the future. So if this does well, it would be fucking hilarious if Henry Cavill ends up, you know, succeeding so much that he could buy the screen rights to Superman into the future. I would laugh until I fucking hurled. Oh, but you know the old saying, have jawline, will travel. Well, it really hasn't been his career path going forward, but, you know, he's definitely been making stops around different places, but nobody wants to snatch him up until Amazon. The fuck are they trying to do over there? After being unceremoniously decaped for his role as Superman, Cavill has rebounded with a single leap. Get it? More Superman puns into Amazon's waiting arms. The once and sadly not future Witcher. That's alright, that show fucking sucks. Will star in and produce a series based on Warhammer 40k, the popular miniature war game, or the most popular miniature war game in the world. Yeah, that's one aspect of it, but then there's also tons and tons of books and lore over top of that, and you know, it's a very costly addiction for people out there, but I'll continue. For 30 years, I have dreamt of seeing a Warhammer universe in live action. Now, after 22 years of experience in this industry, what the fuck? He's been cutting his teeth for 22 years and people still continue to shit kick him? Oh man, like the tenacity on this motherfucker. That's why people want to see him succeed. I finally feel, Merch, that I have the skill set and experience to guide a Warhammer cinematic universe into life, Cavill wrote in a post on Instagram. He added, having a home like Amazon will give us the freedom to be true to a massive scope of Warhammer. And that it is. Like I said, I don't know much about this. All I know is that it's a pool miles wide and also miles deep. So it depends on where you want to dig in on this stuff. To all of you Warhammer fans out there, I promise to respect the IP that we love. I promise to bring you something familiar, and I endeavor to bring you something fantastic that is, as of yet, unseen. Cavill ended his statement by noting the first steps, which are to find our filmmaker, creator, writer. Watch this space, my friends. What a how do you not love this guy, okay? Like, they said, oh yeah, no, that was the last thing that he said. And he throws out, for the Emperor, right? Skulls for the Skull Throne, blood for the Blood God. If you would have signed off with that, man, it was like, how can you not cheer for this guy right here? He takes one of the nerdiest fucking properties that's out there. Okay, if he was going to say he was going to be making a Magic the Gathering TV show, for Christ's sakes, you could not get to this level of fucking nerddom. Sure, it's a step down from Superman, but if he's going to have absolute fucking control over this stuff at Amazon, hey man, all the more power to them, because they clearly have a lot of fucking money, okay? It's the biggest company that's out there. And now they have one of the most beloved and wronged superstars in all of Hollywood right now. And if they are going to be true to their statements by saying that, you know what, you're going to have the freedom and full control over this stuff, I wish him nothing but the best. I'll be keeping an eye on this because I want the dude to succeed, man. He definitely deserves it. And if it's good, well, you might see some coverage of it. And I don't want to fucking put anything concrete out there. But you know what? Hey, man, I want to see him succeed. And I'm going to put my money where my mouth is on this stuff. So with all of that said, and thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.